and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission expands its dragnet, arrests an All Progressives Congress chieftain. Federal High Court grants bail to former acting chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Haliru Bello, in the sum of 300 million naira and 2 sureties. Nigerian army speaks on the clash between the army and the Shiites, insists no regrets on action taken by the military. And Syrian government accepts to allow aid into the rebel-held village of Madaya.
And in business news tonight, London-based Exotic Partners says 25% devaluation of Naira imminent.
And in sports news, Ghana's Andre Ayew and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of Gabon up against Yaya Toure for the CAF African Football of the Year award tonight.
And from Abuja, I'm Linda Kibe. Federal government to beef up security around media houses to prevent attacks by hoodlums.
We begin tonight with what appears to be the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission looking the opposite direction now, with the arrest of a former military governor of Kaduna State and a chieftain of the All Progressives Congress, Jafaru Issa. EFCC spokesperson Wilson Owujarin told Channels Television that Mr. Issa, who's believed to be an ally of President Muhammadu Buhari, was picked up at his residence in Abuja for questioning over the ongoing probe into the disbursement of funds from the office of the former National Security Advisor. Mr. Issa is the first chieftain of the APC to be arrested by the EFCC since the beginning of a probe into the alleged diversion of $2.1 billion meant for arms purchase by officials of the immediate past administration. The retired Brigadier General had been invited last week by the Anti-Graft Agency to clear the air on payments linked to him from the office of the former NSA. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has granted bail to a former chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Dr. Haliru Bello, and his son, Abba Bello, in the sum of 300 million naira each and 2 sureties in like sum. One of the sureties must be a civil servant not below level 12 in the civil service, while the other should own landed property in Abuja. The accused persons are also to deposit their travel documents with the court. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
2 days after his arraignment, the former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party arrived in court again in an ambulance, and with the help of medical personnel, he made his way to the courtroom for the ruling in the application for his bail. Ruling on the application, Justice Ahmed Mohammed granted bail to Dr. Haliru Bello and his son Abba in the sum of 300 million naira each. The 2 accused persons are to provide 2 sureties each, one of whom must be a civil servant not below grade level 12, and the other must own a landed property in Abuja. The sureties are to deposit their passport photograph alongside their affidavit of means with the court, while the accused persons are also to deposit their travel documents with the court. The judge also ordered that Dr. Bello remain under the supervision of the Inspector General of Police while on admission at the Abuja clinics as earlier directed until the conditions are met, while his son is to be remanded in Kuje prison until he meets his bail conditions.
It was rule of law at its best. So we have implicit confidence in the judiciary, and it was okay. Apart from the fact that the conditions are a little onerous, stringent, well, we'll see whether they are attainable, whether they are fulfillable. Yes.
So does it mean you'll be asking for a variation should you not be able to make?
Well, I don't want to jump the guns here. Let's see how the defendants, their efforts at trying to meet the conditions. If they are unable to fulfill the conditions, of course, we may have no choice than to go back to court to ask for variation.
The case has been adjourned to the 16th of next month. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mr. Ibrahim Magu, was seen this afternoon at the presidential villa today. He was reported to have held a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Although State House correspondents were not briefed as Mr. Magu walked out of the presidential villa, reports suggested the meeting may have focused on the federal government's anti-corruption war. Earlier this week, the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, refuted claims by the PDP suggesting the federal government is interfering with activities of the Commission. It's been 2 days since he was arrested, but there has been no word from the EFCC concerning the National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. Party members in Anambra State are protesting the continued detention of Chief Olisametu, describing it as a violation of his fundamental human rights. The protesters thronged the party's secretariat in Awka, the state capital, carrying placards and demanding his release. They say while the PDP, as an opposition party, is not against the war on corruption, it should not be clamped down upon by the ruling party with the silencing of their spokesperson.
Against anti-corruption war. We are in full support of anti-corruption war, but in accordance with the law. So we maintain that Olisametu should be released. He cannot detain somebody more than 48 hours according to the law of the Federal Republic. And therefore we are saying that on our own side, our own voice cannot be detained. You cannot suppress us. We shall keep shouting. He must be released. Let the president of the day see it like that.
In other news, Nigeria must accord high priority to science and technology if it must take its rightful place among leading economies in the modern world. The challenge was given by the president at the first meeting of the National Research and Innovation Council for the year. President Muhammadu Buhari promised adequate investment in science, technology and innovation in order to guarantee competitiveness for Nigeria, both continentally and globally.
I am aware that Nigeria must accord high priority to science and technology if it must take its rightful place among leading economies in the modern world. Nigeria's vision of becoming one of the 20 largest economies in the world by the year 2020 is only attainable when science, technology, and innovation are fully integrated into our nation's socio-economic development process. That process will now be fast-tracked with coming on board of this council. I wish to assure this council of my determination and commitment to ensure that as a nation, we will invest appropriately in science, technology, and innovation in order to guarantee our competitiveness both continentally and globally. Create jobs and fight crime can best be achieved if we embrace science and technology. In my fervent hope that our research and innovation output should be measured by number of intellectual property such as patents granted, and not only by the number of articles published in scholarly journals.
President Muhammadu Buhari. The Nigerian army says it has no apology over its recent action towards the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, the Shiite group based in Zaria, Kaduna State, the Kaduna State capital. At a press conference held in Kaduna, the general officer commanding 1 Mechanized Division, Major General Adeniyi Oyebade, insists that such action will be meted on any group that threatens the peace and stability of the country.
Controversy around the Army-Shiite clash in Kaduna, northwest Nigeria on December 12, 2015 appears not to be abating. Recently, news came forth that the sect had released their own video of the altercation before the attack. But that notwithstanding, the General Officer commanding 1 Mechanized Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Adeniyi Oyebade, feels a lot more still has to be said.
The Nigerian Army does not have any issue with the Shiite sect. Even in the military, we have shared members. There are no issues. But we have problems, issues with those who chose to challenge the authority of the state, who chose to inflict violence on other people.
General Oyebade believes the duty of the army is to defend and protect the country and will not tolerate anyone or group who intends to disrupt its peace and unity.
We make no apologies to any group that threatens the national security of the land. Because to secure 170 million people is, like I said earlier, a top priority of the government of the day, and by extension, the armed forces of Nigeria. But if any group chose not to obey the laws of the land, if any group chose to challenge the authority of the land, by extension, it means that group does not value the sanctity of life, the fundamental human rights of other citizens.
The reaction to that incident have come from far and near, but the end of the matter might just be in the place of dialogue and obedience to the law.
In part two, after the break, the police in Lagos devises new means of dealing with distress calls. Please stay with us.